Hi, Professor McIntosh. So, what did I learn in your sociology class? Well, to begin with, I learned that sociology is the study of social behavior or society. And something else that I found interesting that I learned in your class was learning about the sociological imagination, which by definition describes the type of insight that's offered by the discipline of sociology. And according to the famous sociologist that actually coined this term, it gives us the ability to connect the most basic intimate aspect of an individual's life to seemingly impersonal and remote historical forces. And to make application of this, virtually any type of behavior can have sociological imagination applied to it, which I found really interesting. Now, an example of this can be the drinking of tea. Now, how can we describe it? Well, the perception of drinking tea can be examined from several different perspectives rather than just the simple act of drinking tea. For example, it can be seen as a way of maintaining good health because of the healthful properties that tea is known to have. It could also be seen as a tradition or ritual, as this is we can see is evident in different cultures and countries around the world. It could also be considered a type of drug because it contains caffeine and therefore the drinker of the tea may have a type of addiction. Or it can be seen from the perspective of being a social activity such as, hey, let's meet for tea, an activity that actually focuses less on the beverage and more on the actual activity of meeting with another person. Now, the one concept from class that I want to say was most influential was learning about social structure, which by definition is the stable pattern of social relationships that exist within our society. And it's this social structure that actually creates boundaries that define which persons or groups will be on the inside of society and which ones will be considered on the outside. And it's within this social structure that we as individuals find our social position. Now, what influences our social position? Well, we learned about ascribed status. And ascribed status is can be defined as status which one is born or received involuntarily later in life. Now, an example of an ascribed status would be perhaps being born in a wealthy family. You know, being born in a wealthy family would provide or would guarantee a certain measure of opportunity and social status. We also learned about achieve status, which is also can contribute to our social position. Now, unlike ascribed status, achieve status is a status which one voluntarily enters as a result of personal choice, merit, or effort. And an example of this would be choosing to pursue, let's say, a career as a teacher, because that's a personal choice. So it was interesting to learn that way before we're born, way before we take our first breath of life, that our trajectory in life has already been established, already been determined. And um, can that trajectory in life be altered? Well, from what I took away from it and from what I understand, yes, it can be altered. However, it can only be altered if your trajectory in life crisscrosses with opportunity. And whether or not you'll be exposed to opportunity is dependent on several variables. For example, let's say your geographical location. Let's say you're born in the United States, the land of opportunity, where there are different opportunities that are available here for education, to be landowners, to pursue a career. So if your trajectory in life crisscrosses with opportunity, then it's going to look something like this. But let's say you're born in a place like Afghanistan as a female or some remote village in India, then your trajectory in life is going to look something like this. And why is that? I learned because um, perhaps because of the prevailing political climate, prevailing religious customs, or just the complete lack of opportunity that you're born in, then your trajectory in life is going to look like this. Also learning that hard work is not enough to get ahead in life was something that was very powerful. Um, And I want to say that it was because it it challenged what I believed in. It challenged my belief that hard work will get you noticed, and that hard work in some way has to guarantee you a level of success. And I think that that's why sometimes I would leave your class with conflicting emotions. And I think that that's something that I had expressed to you. And it wasn't that I was depressed or like even now it's really hard for me to define it. But I think that it was unsettling for me to see things in a new way. Um, as an adult, I have carried a certain belief structure for the majority of my life, and to have that challenged was unsettling. But it was challenged in a good way because I was presented with sufficient uh, evidence to know that I needed to see things in a new way, and the realization that perhaps I was duped to believe in things that weren't true, I think contributed to those unsettling feelings. Because what I have learned in your class would have been helpful for me to know, like let's say 10 years ago, or maybe 5 or 3 years ago. But I do want to say that I'm grateful that I was able to take your class and to know the information that I know, that at least I was given the opportunity to learn a little bit better about how the world actually works, and how um, we can use that knowledge to be able to navigate ourselves better in the world and to perhaps make better choices. During one of your assignments that we were given, which was to have a presentation through the class, I was assigned to the education presentation, and yes, it was a lot of information. But what I do appreciate from that assignment was the research that I was able to do on education. And I want to say that during that presentation, I couldn't help but feel that in a way I was whining, like wow, wow, wow. The United States doesn't have the best. Wow, wow, wow. We want more. Or wow, wow, wow. We want to be the best. And yes, while that is true, that yes, we could be doing a whole lot better, and our education system needs to get better. But it has been getting better, and we need to look on the positive end of it. But during that research, it forced me to also widen the lens in which we look at our educational opportunities. And one of the websites that I was able to access and learn a little bit more about the lack of opportunity, educational opportunities that exist in different parts of the world, www.unesco.org. And some of the things that I learned there was alarming. That 122 million youth globally are illiterate. That with the figure of 674 million children receive, I'm sorry, 67.4 million children either receive deficient or no basic education, and that there's 775 million adults that lack minimum literacy skills. And it's these type of figures that where one can easily conclude that literacy for all remains elusive as long as so many people in different parts of the world don't even have an opportunity to obtain a basic education. So I bring this up because I'm appreciative for the the opportunity that I have been given to be able to return to school, to be able to be an adult, that given the opportunity that I have to attend college, that yes, I'm hoping that it does continue to alter my trajectory in life in a way that is positive, in a way that will also influence the trajectory of my children's trajectory as well. Because I know now that the choices that I make is going to be very influential for them as well. But one last point that I do want to mention is learning also too about how life chances are shaped by economic realities and educational opportunities. And although this may be a sobering fact, this this statement helps me to know where to strike my blows, so to speak, or where to direct my efforts. And although I want to say that yes, pursuing my education, completing my goal, even though yes, it is challenging with a family, with issues, with children. I had a fire lit under me before your class to pursue that goal. But now I want to say that I have an inferno. Why? Because I want to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that I have, because opportunities that a lot of people don't have, and a lot of opportunities that could be here today and gone tomorrow. So something that you had mentioned early on in one of your classes, I don't know in what content or what subject, but you were talking to us about how important it is to be on top of our game, or you were telling us you need to be on top of your game. And I just want to say that I appreciate the level of interest that you took in your students, and that I could tell that you you want us to succeed by being able to look at the realities of life, which sometimes are not pretty, but by recognizing what those realities are, it can contribute to our success as we continue in our life goals. So I want to say thank you.